So here the unbalanced mass, so it is equal to the density of the fluid or manometric fluid into volume of the unbalanced mass. So this volume we can calculate by referring this element. Okay, so I will write here density of the manometric fluid into this volume is equal to cross section. So this volume is nothing but the cylinder only. So use the same formula of the volume of the cylinder. Its cross section into its length. So A into 2x. Okay. So this is total unbalanced mass. So I will write here 2 into area into density of the fluid into x. Okay. So this unbalanced mass, so it will provide the necessary restoring force. Now we have to find out the inertia force. So inertia force, it is because of the entire manometric fluid whose length is L. Okay, so you can refer this. So this total manometric fluid, so inertia force, so this is equal to m x double dot. Okay, so mx double dot, so this mass, it is the total mass of the manometric fluid. So for the total mass, we have to consider this total length L. Okay, so this mass we can calculate mass of the fluid. This is equal to the area of cross section of the manometric tube, okay, into its total length L. So just imagine you bend this tube and make it straight. So it will become one cylinder whose cross section. So this is the cross section and this total length. So it will become the L. Okay. So for such element, which is a cylindrical in shape, having the cross section A and length L, we can find out its mass A into L. So this is the volume into its density. So density of the manometric fluid. So this is the total mass. Okay. Now its inertia force, which is equal to m x double dot, that is equal to AL into density of the fluid x double dot. Okay, so this is the inertia force. Now refer the free body diagram. Now we need to find out the direction of these forces, that is the restoring force and the inertia forces. So inertia force, its direction is always in the same direction of the displacement. Okay, so as this displacement x, so it is in the downward direction from this side. Okay, so if you consider this element, so this is the displaced element or displace the fluid. So this unbalanced mass, it will provide the force in the downward direction. Okay, so that force I will write here F restoring. Okay, so that is equal to this unbalanced mass. So this total value is a 2A rho fluid into x into g. Okay, so this is the restoring force. So basically it is acting in the downward direction from on this element. Okay, so this force, it will try to push this complete element or complete manometric fluid in this direction. Okay, so same force will get transmitted through this liquid like this. Okay, so if you consider only the left hand side, then its x displacement, it is in the downward direction, and this restoring force, it is in the upward direction. Okay, so when you write this equation, you can consider inertia force in the downward direction, so it is a negative, and the restoring force positive. Okay, so I will write here F restoring, just refer this equation. So I'm writing here left hand side only. So this summation of F is nothing but the restoring force equal to, I have taken this as a positive because this arrow, it shows that how the force is transmitted through this liquid column. Okay, so this is positive in the left half, equal to inertia force is downward direction. So this is minus mx double dot. Okay, so this becomes the equation of the Newton's second law for the U-tube manometer. So now put the exact value. So here F restoring, this is equal to density of the fluid. So this is a 2 into density of the fluid into area of cross section into G into X equal to this minus mass of the complete fluid. So this is equal to density of the fluid into cross section area A into length of the complete fluid, okay, into acceleration x double dot. So now write this equation in the standard form. So just take this negative in the left side. So it will become, so you can cancel out this raw fluid. Even you can cancel out this area. So equation will be L x double dot plus 2 into G into X equal to 0. So x double dot plus 2G upon L into X equal to 0. Okay. So this becomes the equation of motion. So this equation, it is similar to the simple harmonic motion, x double dot plus omega square or omega n square into x equal to 0. So we will get the omega n. This is equal to square root 2g upon L. This is radian per second. Okay. So this is how you can calculate the natural frequency for the vibration or the oscillation of the manometric fluid. Okay. Okay, so this example, it is based on the experimental method to calculate the mass moment of inertia of some complex geometries. So this, in this example, we will try to calculate the mass moment of inertia of the flywheel. Okay. So this method, this is called as a compound pendulum method. So there is one experiment on the compound pendulum. So what is basically a compound pendulum? If you suspend any object from a point which is away from the center of gravity, then that object, it will oscillate like an pendulum. Okay, so it becomes one compound pendulum. So you can take any object. So suppose this is one object, okay, and it is having some center of gravity at this location, and if you suspend at this point, okay, so this is the pivot point, and if you allow it to oscillate, then it will oscillate like an pendulum. Okay, so this becomes a compound pendulum. So by using this method, which is similar to the simple pendulum, we can find out the mass moment of inertia of some complex geometrical objects. Okay, because for such objects, it is quite difficult to find out its moment of inertia by using the analytical method. Okay, so for the standard objects like circle, then rectangle, triangle, semicircle. Okay, so for these objects, by using analytical method, by using integration, okay, we can find out its mass moment of inertia. Okay, but for such objects, which is a flywheel or the wheel of the vehicle, or the objects having the irregular shape, this is the most convenient method. So that is the compound pendulum method. Okay, so in the compound pendulum method, we will just suspend the given object about one pivot point, and then we will oscillate this like an pendulum. For this oscillation, we will measure its time period, and by using that time period and by using Newton's second law, we can find out its natural frequency. Okay, and then we can find out the moment of inertia. So let us see how to find out the moment of inertia for the given object. So given object, it is the flywheel. For this flywheel, its mass moment of inertia, it is the unknown. So this mass moment of inertia that we want to calculate, it is about the geometrical axis, that is the center of gravity. Okay, so let us take this point as a point O, and this is the pivot point. So let us take this as a point M. Okay, so we want to calculate the IO value. So what is given here? So known value is its mass. So mass we can easily find out just by using the weight balance. Suppose you have given one automobile wheel, okay, and for the automobile wheel, if you want to calculate the mass moment of inertia, so mass moment of inertia we cannot find out by direct method, okay, but its mass we can easily find out just by using any weight balance. Okay, so mass is given for this complete flywheel, this is equal to 20 kg. Other dimension given, its radius is given, so it is a 0.15. So it is the inner radius given. So inner radius means what? This distance. So this is given as a 0.15. So this point M, so it is the pivot point or the point of suspension. About this point, complete object, that is a complete flywheel, it will oscillate for some time duration. That will be the time period. Okay. So let us see how the system or how this flywheel will oscillate once we suspend this from the point M. So this is the oscillation. So again observe. It will oscillate like an pendulum about that pivot point M. Then by performing experiment, we can measure its time period by using a stopwatch, and this time period, it is given as a 1.2 second. Okay, that means for one oscillation, time taken, this is equal to 1.2 second. Okay, so by using this time period, we have to find out its mass moment of inertia. Okay, so we will use here Newton's second law. So first step is we should draw the displaced position, and then we will show the forces. Okay, so this is the mean line. This is the suspension point, that is a point M. Okay, I will just draw the displaced position. Suppose we have initially displaced towards the right side. Okay. So this is the geometrical center. So this is the point O. Okay. And this is the axis which is passing through the point O. So now you can see the change in the position. So this is the initial line, that is equilibrium line. This is the line after displacement. So this displacement, it is assumed to be very small angular displacement theta. Okay. So theta is very small, which tends to 0, so that the sine theta term, it becomes theta. Okay. So it is only possible when theta is very small. So at this displaced position, we will show the forces that will cause the oscillation. Okay. So first force, it is the weight. So this is the mg. Now mg, we will resolve this force into two components. One component, it is in the perpendicular direction to this line. So this is a point M, which is the suspension point. Okay. And one component, it is along this line. So actually this component, it will not cause any oscillation. This component, which is perpendicular to this line, it will cause the oscillation. So basically this is a restoring force. So this is equal to mg sine theta, because this angle is theta. So this angle, it will be theta, and this will become the opposite side. So it is a mg sine theta. So this is the external force or the restoring force. Now, as we are giving the displacement in the rightward direction or in the anti-clockwise direction, okay, its inertia vector, it will be in the same direction. So now this system, so actually this is not x. X we should consider only for the linear displacement. So we should consider this theta as an angular displacement. Okay. So as the angular displacement is theta, its a inertia component, that is called as the inertia torque, it will be in the same direction. So this inertia torque, it is represented as I theta double dot. Okay. Now this I, it is about the point of suspension. It is not about this center of gravity. Okay. So we can take this value as Im. This is the suspension point. Okay. So this is called as the inertia torque, and this is the external force. So now we should use the Newton's second law for the rotational system, because this is not a linear system. It is rotating about the point M. So by using Newton's second law for the rotational system, so what is the equation? It is summation of torque is equal to inertia torque I into alpha. Okay. This summation of torque, this is called as a restoring torque, that will cause the oscillation. Okay. So we have one restoring force, which is mg sine theta. Okay. We need to find out its torque about the point of rotation. So this is the aim point. So we can find out the torque by multiplying the perpendicular distance. So this perpendicular distance, it is equal to the inner radius. So that is the r. So we can write this torque as mg sine theta into inner radius or the perpendicular distance, or it is called as a moment arm as a r. Okay. So now this moment, which is created by this force, it will be in the clockwise direction. Okay. and therefore we should take this as a negative as per the sign convention. This is equal to, there is no other restoring force, only we have the restoring force, which is mg sine theta, and its moment is mg sine theta into r. This is called as restoring torque. Inertia torque is I alpha. So I will write here I. Now we should take this I as a Im. That is the mass moment of inertia about the point of suspension. Into this alpha means what? It is theta double dot. So this is the angular acceleration. Okay. So angular acceleration, it is represented as alpha, and in vibration we use this as a theta double dot. That is the second derivative of the angular displacement theta. Now this inertia, that is a rotating inertia, it is in the anti-clockwise direction. So it is positive. Okay. Now just take this term on the right hand side. So we can write this as I theta double dot plus mg r into sine theta. This is equal to 0. Now write sine theta. This is nearly equal to theta, as theta is very small. So we will get the equation. So this is Im theta double dot plus mgr into theta. It is equal to 0. Okay. So this is the equation of motion for the given flywheel, which is oscillating about the point M. Okay. From this equation, we can find out its natural frequency. So this is equal to theta double dot plus mgr upon Im into theta. This is equal to 0. Okay. Now this equation is nothing but the natural frequency square. So we will get omega n. This is equal to the square root mgr upon Im. This is rad per second. Okay. But in the problem, that is a problem statement, natural frequency is not given. Okay. So what is given? The time period is given. So capital T, it is equal to, this is 1.2 second. So from the time period, we can find out the natural frequency because we know the relation omega n is equal to, this is 2 pi upon T. Okay. So we can find out the natural frequency. This is equal to 2 pi upon 1.2. Okay. So we try to simplify this. So just put this value in this equation. So this is 2 pi upon 1.2. This is equal to, this is square root. Now put the value of m. This is 20 kg. Then 9.81. Its inner radius. This is 0.15 meter. We don't know the value of Im. Okay. So put the value Im, which is the unknown value. Now solve this equation, and from this calculate the value of Im. Okay. So we will get some answer for Im. So actually, we don't want to calculate the Im value. We want to calculate the mass moment of inertia about its center point. That is the geometrical center. Okay. So how you can find out the moment of inertia I0 by using this value Im. So for that, we need to use the parallel axis theorem. So this is the flywheel. This is the geometrical center. So this is the O. Initially, flywheel, it was pivoted at this point. So this is the point M. By using Newton's second law or by using the equation of natural frequency, we can find out the moment of inertia about this point. So this is the Im. But actually, we want to find out the moment of inertia about IO. So in 3 dimension, So suppose flywheel is mounted on the shaft. Like this. Okay. So actually, why do we need the moment of inertia, which is about the geometrical center? So this is the geometrical axis. So generally flywheel, it is coupled with some motor or some engine. Okay. So this is the coupling. And there is one motor. So in order to rotate this shaft, we need to find out how much torque is required at the motor shaft. Okay. So this torque, it depends on the mass moment of inertia. So the equation is T is equal to I alpha. Alpha is how fast we want to rotate the flywheel or shaft. So this is the angular acceleration. And this is the mass moment of inertia about that geometrical axis. Okay. And therefore, we should find out the mass moment of inertia about this point. That is the geometrical axis. So right now we have the moment of inertia about this point. So this is one axis which is passing through this point, and this is the parallel axis. So you can use the parallel axis theorem. Distance between two axes, it is the inner radius r. Okay. So this is Im and this is I0 or IO. So what is parallel axis theorem? So Im mass moment of inertia about the eccentric axis is equal to its mass moment of inertia about the centroidal axis. So it is I0 plus mass of the flywheel or mass of the complete object into square of the distance between the two axes. So it is a r square. So Im we can find out by using the previous relation for omega n. Okay. We want to calculate the I0. So this is the unknown value. Mass is 20 and radius is 0.15 square. Okay. So put the value of Im and then get the value of I0. So this is your final answer. So its unit will be kg meter square because this is mass moment of inertia. Okay. So this is how you can use the Newton's second law for the compound pendulums. And you can find out the mass moment of inertia about the geometrical axis. Okay. So try to complete this problem. First get the value of Im, then use the parallel axis theorem. Im is equal to IO plus mr square, and then get the value of IO. Okay, so you can note down this problem for your homework. So this is based on the physical system. So for this problem, one physical system is given. So it is a water tank. Okay. So this water tank, it is having the weight of 270 ton. Okay. And for this, we have to find out its natural time period for the transverse vibration and the vibration response of the water tank due to an initial transverse displacement of 25 centimeter and the maximum value of the velocity and the acceleration experienced by the water tank. Okay. So first, we should draw the physical system. Then by referring the physical system, you should identify the direction of oscillation, and then we should draw the equivalent vibration model. So this water tank, it is mounted on the column. So it is having the circular cross section or a tubular cross section. So I will draw the front view. So this is the physical system. So this is the water tank. Okay. So this water tank, it is having the mass, sorry, weight